Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today could be possibly, maybe, sort of the last mail day of the year. And the reason why I don't really know is because eBay and their stupid authentication program doesn't know how long it takes to ship cards to anyone or anything you buy from eBay anymore. And thus, I get stuff in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. It doesn't seem to make any difference. What I buy, how I buy it, when I pay for it, I get it randomly sent to me for no real reason from their authenticator. And what's even better is when they split apart orders and authenticate them in different places, because I guess that's just part of the program. So anyway, enough about the rant on eBay's stupid system. I'm going to go into an extremely long and tedious mail day. So if anyone doesn't want to see cool cards and lots of them, then today is not your day. But if you want to see a lot of cool cards that I've been saving up, and I have combined a few videos into one just so that we can all see cool cards all at the same time, today is your lucky day. So I am going to combine three things. I'm combining my card show pickups from the last big card show, which if you weren't on my live stream, I showed them off there a little bit, but I'm going to go into a little more detail today and show them off one by one with much better picture quality. And then I'm going to go through a modern PSA mail day. And then I'm going to go through just my normal pickups. Now, we're going to start here with some of my pickups from the last card show. So here we go. Starting up here with this cool Archives Bryce Harper super short print. All right, so this is an Archives card. It is from, looks like 2014. Right? Sorry. 2013. There you go. Always get the year wrong. Everyone knows that. 2013, super short print. This was a retail exclusive. You could only get it in certain retail products, and they are few and far between. Mike Trout has, I think, one too. So there is these cards out there. If you're a super Bryce Harper collector, you probably need this card. So it sells sometimes in PSA 10 condition around $300. Raw, it could be like maybe $100. So there you go. This was a cool pickup. Don't see this card very often. And it's one of the few cards I picked up that I got just purely for flipping. Next up, starting on the vintage, is a raw 67 Mike Shannon. Again, I talked about in the live stream. This card is a short print from the 67 set. It's a high number. High numbers are always worth more money in the 67 set, and the 67 high numbers are, by all accounts, the shortest printed 60s Topps cards of all time. So there is a lot of people putting the set together that needs the 67 cards. So I picked up this card. I think it could grade between a 6 and a 7. And therefore, it's worth at least a couple $100, and grabbed it again in a trade at the show. Next up is a series of 65 football cards. I don't have hardly any football cards from this year. In fact, I used to have, I think, one card that I sold. Again, this is Joe Namath's rookie card year, so these are all the tall boys. So I'm just going to run through them real quick, and I have like one basketball card thrown in, just randomly. But here you go. Starting here with Paul McGuire. And these are in fairly decent shape. Good color. Some have some centering issues, but in general, they are pretty decent. And they are what I call heavy collector grade, meaning that if you have a 965 top set you're trying to put together raw, this is the kind of card that most likely you would go after. If you weren't trying to build a PSA 8 or even a 7 or better set, this might appeal to you. Now, some of these cards could probably grade. They grade between probably 5 and 7, I would think. So Jim Whalen, Ron Mix, and again, a lot of them have some centering issues, but to me, these kind of cards do sell pretty easy to set collectors. Here is the Jack Kemp, so that's a Hall of Famer. There you go, and there's the backs again for people who want to see the backs look like. Very nice cards. And again, I know they're a little off center, but they were definitely something that I was buying at a good discount, and 100% to go towards people who love to put the set together. Here is Bobby Bell, and again, Not every card is horribly off center. So there are some that are well centered. There's 2 Bobby Bellas in here. There you go. And then Tom Flores. So again, some of these are pretty presentable. Nice cards. None I saw with creases. Just some centering and a few corner condition wear, but nice color. There we go. Matt Snell. Again, these cards are notorious for being off center. Don Maynard. So a lot of stars from this set. Paul McGuire. And again, a lot of New York-based players. So a lot of fun in that little pile of cards. And last but not least is a 70. There you go. Tall boy. And it is Jerry West, All-Star. Again, not too shabby. And again, a little corner wear on the top right. A little corner wear on top bottom, but on the bottom right. But very presentable card. I think a lot of people who are raw collectors would enjoy having that card just put in their set. Moving on to some of the cards I picked up. So this was sort of the big card I picked up in a trade. I made some trades with some of my Chief Bender collection. Here is a 34 batter up Hank Greenberg. Oh, I do not have any Hank Greenberg cards. This is the, I get the tints right. It might be blue tint. There's like multiple tint colors in the set. I think this is sort of like how the Diamond Star set lines up, where the year of the card, because I think this is from 34 to 36. So I can, in 34 it's this tint, and then 35 is a different tint. And anyway, so I think it's very similar to that, to the Diamond Star set, where you have the different color backs corresponding to the year of the card. So there you go. 34 Hank Greenberg. Very nice card. I'm actually going to put it in my little display stand here. It's now got a permanent spot on the wall of fame. Next up is a card of a player who, as soon as I bought it, he got hurt. That's how it always goes. Kenny Pickett, but I'm a Steelers fan, so I'm overpaying for a card of a player who probably won't be much of anything in 5 years, but that's how all rookies go. But it's an XRC rookie. It's probably my favorite, insert from that year, or type of insert, rookie card. The XRC rookie cards are pretty cool because of the fact that they're 1 year theoretically above, before all the other ones. So, and they're in uniform. So again, I love this insert. Like the Mahomes version of this card is super popular. So I picked it up. Not a great idea, just because, rookies, are most likely going to, flame out, but he is a Steeler. So it's like a PC thing. I wanted to have one nice Pickett card just to say I got one. That's it. And I said in my live stream, my strategy now with football players is to have one nice card. So I'm going to have one nice Josh Allen, one nice Mahomes, one nice Tom Brady card, and then just say that's it. That's my nice one. I just picked up the 98 refractor chrome of Peyton Manning, and that's going to be the one nice card I have of him. There you go. I picked up this card. I think I did okay. I got it, at a little bit of a discount. 2007 finest Kevin Durant refractor rookie card. This card has gone down tremendously in value, even from this price point, because it's just how everything's gone down, right? But he's an all-time great, and this is a really cool card of him, and it's a PSA 10. It's one of those cards where you just sit on it and hold it for a while. And I have a lot of patience with cards. I really do. I'm going to be doing a video really soon on a vintage SGC to PSA crossover, and you will see I've been holding some cards for 6-7 years. And finally got them regraded, and so my price point is very low. Did I get good grades? That's to be determined. Next up is a Jason Tatum 9.5 silver prism rookie card. It's a 0.5 away from a true gem, so I guess that means something. But to me, I got it because I wanted to have, again, one really nice Tatum card. And I want to have some volume of some hotter players again for future shows. Like I've said in the past, I buy a lot of newer cards to have sort of like, a good variety when I go to card shows. So I think Tatum is pretty safe at this point to invest in a few cards. And then if they go up, I'll have them for the next show. If they go down, Again, there'll be cards that, I end up just, getting rid of at some point if, they're not worth anything. He seems like fairly low risk for that. Now, I'd love to have the green version. I think that's a cool card. But, the silver's still really awesome. And it's gone up since I bought it, actually, because he's been playing so well. So I'm actually up on the card already from what I paid from the last few sales. And then last up is 2 more Tatums I picked up just, again, to have volume. And they're both 10. So this is both the Optic Rookies, Insert Rookie, and then the base. Both 10s. And again, the idea is to build some base Tatum cards just to have some volume in a player that is sort of the hottest guy right now, but it can always change, right? So that was part of my Cardshow pickups, and then I have some Marvel cards here, and I picked up a few Marvel cards at the show too, and I'll show you what those were. The Moon Knight card from a channel listener came to the show. And I picked this up just because I like the character. I like this insert set. It's pretty much the base version of this card. But this is like the first time they've done this set in a long time. I don't know if they've ever done the Z teams before. So to me, they're a little special. And, again, it's like the volume side, having a lot of good cards of different characters. You never know when they're going to pop. Next up is my favorite my favorite DC characters. I PC about 5 or 6, characters in the DC universe. She is one of them. Death. I've talked a lot about her cover appearances in comics. This is a cool card. This is the Cardass. And I'm saying that right. Cardass Masters set. So this came out, I think, in 2015. And so they're not as, they're DC licensed, so this is not a fake card. You can see it's got gold foil. It's a great image of Death. And again, I've been PCing Death, and you'll see more Death in this actual video. So I'm giving you all kinds of Death love today. This is a very cool card. So again, I'm going to try to get 4 or 5 of these and send off my best copies to PSA again to try to get the elusive Gem Mint 10, because I want to have a Gem Mint 10 of the first, or the coolest cards of Death, Ivy, Harley, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, the guys I really collect. And so I'm starting that process, but it's been very rocky. And you always see some of that in a minute because it's part of my mail day. Still kind of bummed. But here you go. A really cool Death card and part of the OPC. Now, next up are 2 sketch cards. So I have made fun of how many sketch cards I have because I have a ton. But, I get them because I love original art. And I feel like for people who love the characters that they collect, these are always really fun to have to show other collectors. And there is a hardcore sketch community out there that hopefully starts to grow and starts making sketch cards much more let's say common, because right now it seems like sketch cards are getting, either they go really expensive or I go for $40. It seems like there could be a little more middle ground so that, or just how you can price them, because right now pricing is very difficult to judge. But here is 2 Rich Hinneman sketches, and he had 3 listed. The owner of these cards had 3 that he had from the same artist. So he either got them directly from Rich or he bought them. But these do not look like artist proofs, because most of the time artist proofs have a designation as being an artist proof. So I don't think they are. I think they are pack pulled, or he was able to, get all of them from, real early when they came out, but he had all 3 of them. So the first one is Spider-Gwen from Rich Hinneman. Really, I think, from when I look at Spider-Gwen sketches, to me, this is one of the best ones I've seen, just because it captures the character in a lot of reasons. One is there's full background. I love the pastel colors. Great job. Captures some motion on the card, but also proportionality is really good for sketch cards, which is very difficult. A lot of times you get wonky proportions because people are dealing with such small area to draw on that they can't make things look right. So you get the bobblehead effect or the tiny head effect, or you get like the torso looks really wonky because you can't have a lot of room to maneuver on the card. So combining the really nice proportions to some motion to a great colored background, just a really nice card, very eye appealing for me. The next up is the Spider-Man. So this is the card that really drew my attention because of how perfect he did Spider-Man, which is he drew in all the lines, the webbing, which you see in some of these sketches, no one will actually take the time to do that webbing effect on Spider-Man. They kind of just mail that part in. And so you see that, the background on this one isn't quite as detailed, just a web, but I do feel like at least you have full color background. You've got very nicely detailed, Spider-Man himself. So you combine that with this card and you get like this very similar look and feel to the cards. Very cool palette, color palette. Now, the other one that I didn't win was the black suit Spider-Man. I don't think it was Miles because it had no red accents to it. So that's usually Miles' outfit. So I think it was just the black suit Spider-Man. It'd have been cool to have all three, but I only got two of the three. You can see both from Rich Hinneman. So I really, really like these sketches. So again, I PC Spider-Man. So that goes into the old sketch portfolio. Probably never to be seen again unless I decide to sell all my sketches. Another card show pickup was this ASM 121 sketch of the Death of Green Goblin. So there you go. I just got this because it's one of my favorite issues. There you go. The Turning Point. I think this is also Death of Gwen Stacy as well. So pretty pivotal issue to have a cool cut like that. I picked up this grandiose Spider-Man parallel card. Again, just a card to have, it's a Spider-Man. And then another card in the old Native American collection, Thunderbird, PMG Red. These have, dropped precipitously in price, so they're pretty easy to pick up now, especially the Reds. The Reds are pretty darn cheap, so they're actually fairly easy to pick up. And Thunderbird's not a hugely popular player, or character, so very simple. Next up is basketball. So these are actually just pickups, mail. So Metal Universe, Michael Jordan #1. I like this set. I've never had this card ever, even just raw. They've dropped down in price so much, I just went up and grabbed this one. It was a mint 9, so didn't cost tons of money. Next up is a 2021 Revolution Larry Bird autograph, and I just think these are so awesome, with the green, how sparkly it is. I don't care it's a sticker auto. I still like that they gave a little white space for it, so it blends in very nicely. Just a really nice card. Mint 9. And last but not least, 95-96 Magic Johnson Refractor. Again, this is really before the refractors hit their stride. So these were kind of just the plain refractors, but still really nice. And Magic Johnson is a all-time grade. So I always, if I see those cards selling in that $30-$40 range, I always pick them up. Next up is two hockey cards. They're both vintage. One is an 87 of Peachy Gretzky and a near mint 8 or near mint to mint, and then a Mike Bossy 80 tops, or sorry, Mike Gardner. Gosh. And this is tops and a 7. Just cheap card. Both of these guys went fairly cheap, so I went ahead and picked them up. And like I said, hockey does really well for me at the last show, so I'm just picking up hockey when I can, just to have a little bit more of that hockey goodness. Next up is some really cool cards. Now, 79 Tony Dorsett, PSA 8. I think this is Dorsett's rookie card. Have to double check that. It's late. I should know this, but I think it's Dorsett's rookie card. But it's an 8, and it's a fairly nicely centered 8, so glad I picked up. Again, I just pick up these cards if I can get them at a good price, and an 8, and that card isn't too expensive. Next up is a 1998 Topps Chrome Refractor. There you go. That's Reggie White. Super, super nice card. I love all these 90s refractors, and this card is insanely cheap, so picked it up for like just a fraction of what even like a mid-tier baseball Hall of Famer would bring. And then last but not least is probably one of the biggest cards I have in this whole mail day. This is the 98 Leaf Star Rookies and Stars Crusade. So this came out of the Rookies and Stars subset or set, and it's the green. And look at that shine. I mean, that's why these cards are considered some of the nicest cards of the 90s, because the shininess is just off the charts. But this is the green Crusade Barry Sanders, and you can see numbered 150 out of 250. I don't know if that means anything, but it's cool. Again, this card took me forever to get through eBay's little procedure, but I finally have it in hand, and it's awesome, and it's beautiful. Love that card. Moving on to more modern baseball. Picked up just this sweet spot autograph of Cepeda. Trying to figure out what year it is. It's 2000 and looks like 2002. Sweet spot, Cepeda auto. I think these always look cool. So just another Hall of Fame auto to put in the collection. Picked up a 2006 Topps Verlander, really cheap. So I don't have a lot of Verlander cards. So I'm just starting to pick them up a little bit. Then a Scherzer, SGC 9 rookie card. I think both those guys are pretty much lock Hall of Famers. And then last but not least is some vintage cards I picked up, and there's a huge vintage card in here. So it's not Bump Hadley, but this came across pretty cheap, so I just picked it up. I always love this set, this 38 Gaudy, these big head cards. So there you go. There's that one. 57 Yogi Berra. Very nice. Very nice card. And last, I guess, second, but not, I don't know. Not last but not least, here we go. Now this is a 59 Willie Mays All-Star. And this thing is sweet. It is a super nice card. It's got blood red. It's got one little tick on that top right corner, but almost perfect centering. Blood red color, very little print, really nice image, nice centering, white borders. This is like, for me, an 8. This is like what an 8 really should look like for most cards if you could get them right. Just a nice card. There is the back. Super nice. And you can see it was from PWCC. It's got the old S top 5%. So yeah, it met the PWCC auction house at some point. And then last but not least, I don't know why I got them out of order, but here's a Jack Morris rookie card. And again, this is just a cheap pickup. Again, I buy a lot of these cards because, again, when I go to card shows, not everyone wants to spend $400 or $500 on cards. They want to get really good cards, but they don't want to, they want to get Hall of Famers, but they don't want 9s and 10s because of the cost. Now, moving on into my Griffey pickups. So, here is I want to say Bowman's Best Griffey. It looks like it's around 2007. So I didn't, this is not a year I collected this kind of product. So it's just a base card. I just picked it up because it was cool looking. I don't have cards like that. Next up is probably two really nice inserts that I really like. I don't have them in, let's say, the right holders yet, because I haven't really gone through and put them in the right display pieces, but just got them in. So first up is this 2005 Topps Chrome Black, numbered to 225. I know it's hard to see, but there you go, 225. Black refractor. I just think the black refractor with his uniform, that just looks super classy. That's like, I'd love to have that graded in a PSA 10. That card would just look awesome in a holder, even in an SGC holder, but you can tell that thing is sweet. The black, again, melds with his uniform just perfectly. It's just a badass card. It's not a Mariner card, so it can't be worth anything, but still a badass card from that time period. Very cool card. And next up is, I believe, 1997 circa. No, so the Skybox Thunder. Try to take out this holder here because it looks kind of dumpy in there. But it's a card I've never owned before. So this is a first up for me, and I'm a little shocked how thin. I thought the card's a little thicker, but when you look at them, but it's actually pretty thin. It's the Rave Review King Griffey Jr. Never owned this card. It sells on eBay if like a couple times, probably 4 or 5 times a year, maybe 6. So it's not incredibly rare, but it's pretty rare. Really intricate die cuts. Just you can tell like that the thing is prone to damage. And it's got sort of a you can see it right there, raised finish. So very intricate. Like they don't make cards like this anymore. I mean, let's just be honest. They don't do the intricate die cuts that look like something. They make the die cuts look like just shapes. Like we're gonna make a circle. We're gonna make a a square. It's like, okay, why can't you make it look like something? No, that takes some money. And why can't you make it have foil and textured and have like 4 or 5 elements to it? No, it's too expensive. So this card is really cool because it's such a throwback to that time period. Rave Review cards are really nice. I've got the Frank Thomas, so that's really cool to get the Griffey now. Love that card. And here is a card, again, Essence of the Game. It's only an 8. I still think it's a cool card. I have this in a few copies raw as well. But this came across pretty cheap, so I went ahead and grabbed it. So yeah, very, very cool card. And it's only an 8, but I'm not a huge snob on Griffey. I'm unlike some things. It's just he's got so many cards, like you're never going to get them all. It's just impossible. So sometimes you got to get some lower grades. And then last Griffey pickup, but not least, because this puts me at almost the entire Griffey 90s refractor base, just the bases set. And here is the 99 finest refractor. And I'm at 9. I just went ahead and ponied up the dollars for it. It was on eBay on a buy it now and just grabbed it. I love those double. You can see it. I don't know if you can really see it, but it is a double-sided refractor. You can see it right there. I just love these 99 finest refractors. They are really cool, really nice. This one obviously has had the protector removed, so you get more shiny off of it. I'm going to put it in a holder. It is, so now I just need the 94 finest to finish the set. But, it's such a nice card. Okay. So moving into the last part of the video. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. The last part of the video is my recent order from PSA. So it's going to be in 2 videos. In today's video, we're just going to cover the modern cards. In the second video, it's going to be my SGC to PSA vintage crossover. There's like 13 or 14 cards in that. Here we've got like 8 cards that I subbed for more modern. You got to remember back in the day, the cutoff I believe was 93. So anything from 93 or beyond before or 94 and before was considered to be vintage, which doesn't really make sense, but we do what we're told. All right, first up is the only sports card in the modern portion I submitted. It is a 94 Bowman Spec Griffey, and it is a mint 9. So this is probably the one card in the whole order that, to me, I was not just nervous about, but I really want it to 9 because it just means I don't have to find the card anymore. I can just put this in the PC. I have, I think, an 8 already. So I can just, put this in the collection. I don't have to try to find the 10. And this one's good enough. And it was a super nice card. You can see how shiny this card is. I thought I had a chance at a 10. But getting the 9 just means I have this card. And it's super nice. And, when you're collecting like that, that card went from raw to graded. It goes into the PC, and that card gets retired. I don't have to worry about it anymore. And I got a double, so I can sell it and buy something else. Next up is my 2. So I submitted a bunch of 90s DC cards to try to get some of my favorite characters into PSA 10. So I can, again, that's some of my goals. First up is Death. So first up is the 93 Skybox Cosmic Team. So this is kind of her first appearance by herself on a base card. She's got some other cards in the Sandman series as well. But here you go. This one came back in 8. Now, I think it had maybe some back chipping. It's a little off center, left to right. So I didn't pull many cards of her. And so I was kind of wish casting this one. But got an 8. So there's only one. This is the only 8 that exists on this card. So there you go. 1 of 1. Next up is another death card. Now this one got a mint 9. And you can see it's a little better centered. And I was hoping for a 10 on one of those 2 cards. I didn't get it. But I have a 9. And it is a pop of 1 as well. So this is a 1 of 1. So if you want a mint 9 death card from the 93 Cosmic Team set, then you gotta buy it. Come through me, buddy. I have the only copy. Now, a 9 is a good card. I still want a 10 just to put it into this collection and just, forget about it. I can use these cards to trade for other cards if anyone wants them. I would value, again, with those 2 cards, since they're basically 1-of-1s, I'd probably say I'd want $80 for this card and like $40 for this card, or $35 or something like that. So like that's how I'd value the 2 cards. Now, what I sell them right now, I'd probably sell at least the 8. If someone wanted to get $30, I'd sell it to them for sure. Because I'm probably going to buy a couple more boxes and try to get a 10 on that card at some point. Next up was the 93 Top set. So this is Batman, the animated series. I opened a box on the channel and I pulled 2 Ivies and 3 Harleys, I believe. So here's the first Ivy. There you go. Came back at 9. This is such a cool card. I love it. I like just almost a monochrome background, but just like, plain colored background makes the card stand out. No border, so you can't tell centering, I guess, by the Batman there. But mint 9, and then the second one came back a mint 9. Will be a theme. So I didn't get the 10 I was looking for. Again, I'd value these. These are very low pop, so again, I'd value these cards around $30 to $40 probably. That's how I would look at this cards. But 2 mint 9 Poison Ivy. So not terrible, but not. I was hoping to get at least 110. Now, next up is the other big hitter from the set, the Harley Quinn. You guys hit 3 of these in. So we got a mint 9 on this one. Again, the 9s sell for $80 and very consistent around $70-$80. But the last couple have been selling right at $80. So the 9's an $80 card. The 10 people want like stupid money for. There's only a few of them. I would assume that you can maybe get $500 to $600. Maybe. People want $5,000 for the 10. I can't imagine it sells for that. But you might be able to get 500 to 1,000, like in that range, if one of them did sell. Now, if the pop count gets blown up, then that card just becomes like another card. Right now, it's a low pop count. Card number 2, mint 9, and card number 3, mint 9. So I got 3 mint 9s on the Harley. Pretty disappointed that I didn't get one to come in as a 10. I honestly think when they have those low pop counts like that on these cards, that to get a 10, you're going to have to really, it's going to be tough because the cards themselves don't really come in that, they're not in conditions that are perfect all the time because of how the cards are made and packaged. So, and they have that borderless, easy to chip kind of card stock. So, but, didn't get the 10, but, at least I didn't get a 5 or 6 on some of them like you sometimes do. So the worst I got was an 8 on one of the death cards, and then the rest were all 9. So, including the Griffey. So really, that isn't that shabby of a modern sub. So, stay tuned for my my next video. Will be my vintage SGC to PSA crossover. It's going to be like 13 cards that I cross over from SGC to PSA, and you can see the results. How'd I do? And did I make money, lose money? We'll go all into the details on that video pretty soon. But thanks for following me on this video. Hope you like the cards, and I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.